Okay, so just as a reminder, we will have everyone muted to start. If you have any questions as we go through the updates for this February YuZoom, go ahead and use the chat, and we'll try and answer them as we go through. We will have some time for question answer at the end, at which point you can unmute to ask any questions. But to go ahead and get us started, I will hand it over to Dr. Dotson.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good afternoon, everyone. It is fantastic to see you all in our first YuZoom of the spring semester. It is not on my slide, but I do want to take a minute to just recognize everyone for our enrollment recovery that we are seeing. As you have likely seen in my This Week at YuBa emails, we are currently experiencing a pretty significant recovery this semester. It is the second semester in a row that we're seeing some positive numbers, and I am hopeful that that trend will certainly continue. Our state expects it, and we are happy to see our students coming back. So all of that is thanks to the incredible work that you all do every day to help our students access our institution, to stay here, to have the best learning environment that they possibly can, and to be helped and empowered and supported as they look for what their next step might be on their career or transfer journey. So thank you to all of you for the incredible work you do, and congratulations. I am hopeful that we will continue to see that trend in the coming summer term and certainly next fall. As you all know, we did hold our fire drill successfully. The safety committee has established a list of to-dos around that fire drill, and we are working through them to improve our ability moving forward. Our safety committee will actually meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. and we're looking forward to getting some feedback on the frequency of our fire drills. We want to make sure that that is useful, but we also want to do it in a way that it disrupts instruction and operations as much as possible. And so we've asked some of our committee members to get some feedback and to bring that back around the fire drill specifically, so that we can talk a little bit about what that will look like moving forward. As I shared previously, though, we are hoping to have an active assailant drill in the coming year. There is a lot of work and effort that needs to go into that process, including training. And so it will likely take us a bit longer to get to the point where there might be some sort of live drill associated with an active assailant. And many of you have likely heard it called an active shooter, and there's been a little transition in language. So I just wanted to clarify that. Nonetheless, we are moving in that direction. In fact, the administrators on the Yuba College administrative team have been assigned to do some training around the National Incident Management System, so that we can make sure that we are on our path to be well prepared for a live active assailant drill sometime in the next year. I invite anyone who is interested to join us at our safety committee meeting. We have it in person, like I said, at 3 o'clock, but there is also a Zoom link that's available on board docs, or you can email Zulema Zermeño, who can send you the Zoom link if you would like to join us. I also wanted to give a quick EMP update. In the month of January, we invited Dr. Al Solano to do some training with our administrative team on project management. We want to make sure that as we are moving some of the tactics forward on the educational master plan, that those who are leading some of those initiatives have a really good understanding of how to lead a project to the point of ensuring that we're meeting our outcomes. And so I'm grateful that the administrative team took some time to go through that training. It was a couple of hours one afternoon in January to refine some of their skills. I also had an opportunity to meet with the Academic Senate last week, and we'll join them again tomorrow to talk a little bit about a budget process associated with the Educational Master Plan. So we have a draft that was created by the administrative team, taking some examples from existing budget processes in the district and at our college that we're hoping to work through with the Academic Senate to make sure that it's going to help us to make meaningful change specifically in our educational master plan. Our RAM task force meeting is coming up. We do have representatives across our institution who are participating in that. RAM is our resource allocation model task force. That's a group of individuals meeting throughout the district to talk about how the colleges in the district will receive their allocations, their budgets moving forward. As a reminder, we've not really had a formalized allocation model at the Yuba Community College District, and it is our intent to make a recommendation as a task force on how we might allocate the funds that we receive from the state to the colleges and the district moving forward. We've had an opportunity to review other district models, and in our most recent meeting, we were provided with an example of what a RAM would look like for our specific community college district if it followed almost exclusively the student-centered funding formula, so the way that the state allocates that funding. And we have a lot of work still to do to understand some of the nuances of what that might look like. But I want to make sure that whenever we are moving forward with that task force, that I'm sharing as broadly as possible what's occurring there. And I certainly would welcome any other members of the task force to jump in if they want to raise their hand and share any perspective. I want to make sure we're communicating that moving forward as well. I'm going to pause just in case any of them want to raise their hand. All right. Also, just discussed yesterday at DC3 is that we are moving forward with a district facilities master plan. Yesterday in DC3, there was a discussion about what the membership was going to look like for that facilities master planning process. The district has gone out to bid to find a contractor that will support that planning process. This is really important work for us at Yuba College because we have a lot of work to do and room to grow on making sure that our facilities are taken care of, not only in a sustainable way, but also to make a difference for our students when they are here on our Marysville and Sutter campuses. I am hopeful that those individuals who represent Yuba College on this master planning process will be there with me as a partner to make sure that we are really thinking broadly about how we can plan to ensure that our current facilities are brought up to an appropriate standard and then sustainably cared for moving forward. So this effort is going to be really important for us as an institution, and I'm looking forward to that work coming to fruition soon. There has not yet been a meeting, just a discussion with DC3 about how appointments to that master planning group will happen moving forward. The last thing I will share is our next YuZoom is March 1st at 4 o'clock, same place. And if you have any agenda items or an interest to present, please don't hesitate to email me. We are certainly always looking for people to join us in trying to communicate what's happening across our institution. And thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you. Okay, so just some quick updates from the Office of Instruction. The spring 2024 scheduling process is just now getting started. The deans and directors will be reaching out to work with instructional faculty in the departments and to start those discussions shortly, probably within the next few weeks. Spring 2023 enrollment projections, as Dr. Dotson shared in her email and then briefly at the beginning of this YuZoom. So the latest information that we have is from January 29th. I was asking if that could be updated just briefly at the beginning. but unfortunately we lost our access to update those. The latest information we do have is that census enrollment is up 9.5% from last spring, and resident FTES is up just about 9%, so similar to what was shared in the email. I also got confirmation that the fall 2022 efficiency that was reported in the email was confirmed, and so that 14.02 efficiency was finalized. So that's great news, great work, great information. I met with Melissa Ha, who is the academic senate appointed co-facilitator on the SEM work group, and that work group will be starting soon. We are still looking for a classified co-facilitator. I know Joseph Stockman is working to identify someone for that. And there are some other appointments that still need to be made, but we're going to look to get that group meeting as soon as possible. So an email will go out to get that scheduled soon. And just as a reminder, Sonia Horn sent out an email, but spring 2023 full-term census is due Monday, February 6th. So that is this upcoming Monday. And I am handing it next to Christina Vanucci.
Thank you. With the start of this semester, I kind of want to bring everybody's attention back to tutoring. We do have tutoring on our main campus as well as Sutter. We offer support in all things related to writing through the WLDC, which is our Writing Language Development Center. So if you think your students need support in that area, please send them over. We also have there to help them are Ron Moore and Darla Hagerman, as well as all of our tutors. Anything that's content related will be done through the CSC, and that's Riley Hang and Kui Bui. And then at the Sutter Center, if your classes are over there, I suggest you reach out to Stephanie Bone. We are offering both WLDC and CSC services over there. Next slide, please. And then we have a number of events that are coming up between our theater and our music department. So this year's play will be Pocatello, and the dates for that are listed. We have a number of different performances. We're currently scheduled to do 2 weeks, and hopefully we will be able to hold to that. And then in our music, we have a number of different recitals that are happening at noon, as well as our formal concerts, which happen in the evening. And a shout out to our concert band, who is working with River Valley, Wheatland, and Yuba City high schools. And they will be doing an outreach concert at River Valley High School on April 19th. So we're very excited to have that. That is all I have for our events, and I'm turning it over to Dr. Tarish.
Thank you, Dean Vanucci. So a couple of great and exciting updates from Student Services. We have welcomed Dr. Maria Salcido Bautista, who is currently serving as our new interim director of TRIO programs, and you are going to hear from her in a little while about some opportunities for students in our TRIO programs. Also, you may already be aware of this, but Jennifer Mahler, who has served as our Director of Enrollment Services, was selected for the district registrar position, and she started that role today. So she's wearing that hat, although she's still a great resource for us here at Yuba College, and she's going to be a really great partner in that role, especially because she's sat in the seat at Yuba College and brings a really student-centered approach to that role. We are recruiting for an interim director, and in the time that it takes to get through that process, hopefully soon, we are sharing some leadership across multiple managers in that area. So if you need managerial support for outreach needs, you would contact Chris Sanchez in counseling. If you need managerial support for admissions and records functions, Martine Gutierrez is helping with that in financial aid. And if you need managerial support for things related to Sutter Center, that would be me. You would contact me. Also, pending board approval next month, Annabelle Toche has been selected for our permanent Dean of Student Success position, and that starts on February 13th. She's been in an interim role wearing a couple of different hats, but you'll see her now in this permanent role overseeing a whole portfolio of programs that support our students' engagement, basic needs and wellness, special population programs, and really focusing on student retention services. So congratulations to everybody that I've identified. And I can see lots of congratulations in the chat. That's wonderful. Next slide, please. So I'm covering this one for Jennifer. She wanted to make sure on her way out that we had a couple of updates to share, especially with faculty from enrollment services, particularly related to our registration functions that are happening. So as a reminder that instructors would use the add permissions in self-service to allow students to enroll into full-term classes late. February 3rd is the deadline for faculty to drop students who are not attending classes. Last day to drop classes without a W for students, and then the last day for students to be eligible for a refund. February 6th is census, and February 24th is the last day for students to elect a pass, no pass grading option. And then last, enrollment services, particularly the outreach team, is hard at work already thinking about the services for our incoming students. And so we're planning to host an open house on our campus to help students understand what opportunities they have available here at Yuba College, and get them prepared for their final matriculation activities. That will be on April 22nd, and definitely more information will come out about that. So I am now having an opportunity to pass this over to Martine.
Thank you, Dr. Tresh. So I'm here to kind of provide a reminder of some topics. I did send an email out to all faculty and all student services about the CARES application. So students can submit an application now. One reminder is limited funding. I checked before the meeting, and currently we have 1,414 applications in. Those applications, the review process will start on Tuesday of next week. And those awards will be processed so that we can do the disbursement on February 24th. Another reminder is about the 23-24 FAFSA application deadline for March 2nd students. So we would like for you to remind our students to go ahead and complete the 23-24 FAFSA before March 2nd. Doing that will open the door for them to not only qualify for the federal grants, but also to the state Cal grants, and also the Student Success Completion Grant, which is more resources for the students. Students who are not able to submit a FAFSA application, they can submit the California Dream Act application. They also have the March 2nd deadline. And in the slide, there's links for additional help for students if they have questions. I want to say thank you to Inderji and Corny, because since October until now, they have working very hard with our local high schools to do Cash for College events so that our high school seniors can complete those FAFSA applications by the March 2nd deadline. I know that they have a Cash for College on Tuesday of next week. And so I want to say thank you to both of them, because they have done a lot of great work to have students complete a FAFSA application. Okay, but we need to make that also that information available to our college students. Also, I want to point out that we do have a financial aid 2023 spring payment schedule that is available online. You have a link there for the payment schedule. Important dates or reminders is that March 24th is our second disbursement for all the students that have received their initial disbursement since January 27 up to March 10th. Students or the last day the financial aid office will process adjustments. And what this means is if a student was not enrolled full-time, but they add some of the late starting classes, we will have until April 7th to make adjustments. for those students who added classes, okay? The students who completely drop classes and they withdrew completely from classes after March 9th, they are not required to pay any financial aid back. So those are very important dates for students to know. The last date of adjustments, if they add additional classes, will be April 7th. And if they're planning to withdraw completely, will be April 9th, so that there's no financial aid liability. And the last thing is we want to continue to encourage students to use self-service, financial aid self-service. When the students log in, there's a lot of important information in there. It tells the students if they're missing any components, what is their satisfactory academic progress, and any other important links related to financial aid. So please help us spread the word and for students to continue to apply for financial aid, okay? And so now I would like to pass this to Liliana for the MESA program. Thank you.
Thank you, Martine. Hi, everyone. I'm just here to remind you guys about the MESA program. It's still taking applications and students. It's slowly getting bigger, so the more students we get, the more we can do. This semester, we have a couple things coming up. I have the Student Leadership Conference that's coming up where I'm taking MESA students. We're planning on doing a spring break trip. I did books this semester. That's the first time MESA have been doing the books this year. And so a lot of students got their chem books, their math books. So that's been a positive thing for the students this year that we got to do the books. And so I'm hoping to do more. I have been telling the students, the ones that are MESA, if there's anything else like calculators and stuff, let me know so we can get that going for the students. So there's different things that are coming up. Remember, I'm still building it back up and it's a team effort. So let me know what you guys need from the STEM department and what we can do to help these students and get them going. Remember, the eligibility is that they want to transfer to a 4-year and that they're wanting to be in the STEM fields. They have to be eligible or receiving financial aid. Calculus required for their major. I have some students that their ed plan right now isn't updated, but their ultimate goal is to transfer out, so I can help them in that process and guide them to get to a counselor, help them with that piece, because I know it's a little nerve-wracking. And they have to be current or incoming Yuba College students. If they're dual enrolled, let me know because I can get them in too. As long as they want to go, again, to a 4-year and it's STEM based. I put on the majors on here. It's biology, chem, computer science, engineering, mathematics, physics, pre-dental, pre-med, pre-nursing. You can send them my way. I'm right here next to the bookstore. I don't really have a room number. So building 300 right across from the fountain next to the bookstore, just send them my way. I can work with them. I can help them out. Have any questions, please let me know. And just please keep sharing. I have some students that they're bringing their buddies in. And so just let them know that I'm still here, still taking applications, and I'm here to help out. Thank you. And the next person is Dr. Maria Salcedo.
Thank you, Ellie. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to virtually meet all of you. I am Dr. Maria. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I'm here to briefly touch on TRIO to let you know about a couple exciting news. We are still accepting students to our traditional SSS program and including our STEM students. We are actually really excited to be participating in a pilot program that expands eligibility for our TRIO students, and we can waive citizenship. This is huge for our TRIO program, as we are a federally funded program, and previous practice is that only residents and U.S. citizens can participate. So please, if you know of any undocumented or DACA students, let them know of our program, as we are now able to expand our services to this population. We are right next to MESA near the bookstore. You are welcome to share this slide with our students, as this QR code takes them directly to our application. Just with the reminder that they still have to meet the rest of our eligibility criteria. We are also going to be taking a trip in collaboration with MESA during spring break, and we are excited and looking forward to that. Once again, we're still accepting students for both both programs, so refer them. We invite you to to share with students, and we're also can come to your classes if any of our deans want to share with instructional faculty, or if there is instructional faculty in this YuZoom, we can come to your class to share about TRIO. And we have a Meredith from Academic Senate. Thank you.
Hi. So sorry, first of all, sorry for being camera off right now. I have unreliable internet. I'm gonna make this super quick. There's not a lot to say, in part because we've only had one meeting since the year has started. But I wanted to first of all show you the senators. You've seen this before. I've got a few highlighted in yellow. What's important about them is these are positions that are coming open this semester. We'll be doing elections. And so if you are in the humanities and social sciences or the at-large positions, you're interested in being in Senate, we have a full-time and part-time at-large position. I encourage you to respond to the emails that will be coming out soon about the election process and see how that goes. If we could go to the next slide, please. We recently had our collegiality in action visit. I know that a bunch of you guys were there. I don't have tons to say about it, except it was really good. We learned a lot. These are the 10+1. You've seen them before. The 3 that are highlighted in yellow are because it's relied primarily upon the Academic Senate. The remainders and the ones that the +1s that we've agreed on with the Board of Trustees are the ones where we work to mutually agree upon. If we could go to the next slide, please. The final thing that I want to mention is the committee vacancies. We have quite a few committees. Melissa Haw sends out emails whenever we get openings, but these are emails that have been sent out and have not been filled. So if you have an interest in any of them, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me or to reach out to Melissa Haw, or in some situations you can reach out directly to the co-chair. Because I didn't have much space, I didn't always write them here, but it gives you kind of an idea of what the committee is. And I tried to note whenever possible whether there was a stipend for part-time faculty or not. And with that, I don't really have anything else, and I'm not sure who else who comes after me because I got here late. So I'm done and let the next person take over.
Thank you, Meredith. I am not sure if we have any updates from district services. I don't see anyone. If anyone is here, please speak up. Do we have our partner from the bookstore here? Okay. Then we have time for questions. And I will stop sharing.
I don't have a question, Jeremy, but I do want to say thank you to Juana and Maria for their patience and all their help as I transition into this role. So thank you so much, Juana and Maria.
Denise, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, the bookstore kind of came up, and you guys may or may not know this, but I would like to know, we have handbooks that we have to do every year, and one of the handbooks wasn't done, which is fine, but in the future, I know we need to send it out to a printer. How do we find out who that printer is?
So this is because the print shop, yeah, so this had come up. There was a question that was raised during Academic Senate. Dr. Dotson and I are working with IT to get an update, and that will be shared as soon as possible.
Okay, because I will need them next year. So thank you.
There are a couple of questions in the
Yep.
chat.
I'm going to jump in and answer Lisa's question. I think a direct application of the SCFF model is challenging because it doesn't take into account a couple of things. One is the method we're going to choose to use to fund district services. So the SCFF, the basic allocation part, and then the momentum factors part of SCFF are all really based off of FTES generation. And the district services are something that we need for both of the colleges, but they don't generate revenue in that sense through the SCFF. And so there's some work to be done about what that will look like for funding district services. There's also some additional things that we have to take into consideration. There are places, for example, where Yuba College runs some functions district-wide. And so we need to have a conversation about how we adequately account for that in the SCFF if we were to use the direct application of SCFF. Certainly because we are a larger institution, there is a larger portion of the money that would come our way as long as enrollment continues. And because Yuba College's student population does well in the specific SCFF categories, we would do well from that perspective. But I think there are still a lot of details that need to be ironed out around where, how we would handle things like rental income, how we'd fund district services, how we'd, acknowledge that Yuba College, for example, runs all the district's daycare centers, child development centers, I'm so sorry, et cetera. And so I hesitate to say if it looks fair yet or not, because there are some things to iron out. And I want to mention one other actually really important one that I can't believe I didn't say earlier, and that is one of the aspects of the current funding model from the state of California, SCFF, that isn't taken into account is the difference in funding CTE programs. All FTS are essentially worth the same thing, but we know that funding a CTE program looks a little different than other programs might. And there are some expectations around ratios and equipment and space, et cetera. And so I think there's still some work to do there before we're probably at a good solution. So I hope that helps. Denise, I will just really quickly say that the our CDC centers do have some state funding, but our general fund does contribute to CDC operations in some places as well. So we want to sort of take into account all of those.
I know also there are grants for that at the state level, so I don't know if that's something that might be looked at.
Yeah.
For facilities and things like that, because I know that's how most of the districts run. Also, any updates on the student health services?
Thanks, Denise. So we are still having a conversation with potential partners. Most recently, we got a proposal back that just wasn't what we had requested in terms of how we need, there's the interplay between the student health fee that the students are paying. And for some providers, there is a desire to charge students insurance for every single student that walks in the door. And that's not what we were seeking. So that created a challenge. And so the provider has actually just on Friday afternoon provided an updated proposal. We need to spend some more time looking through to see if it meets our needs. So that's what we're trying to balance out, what our students need versus what the providers are requesting on their end. So I really hope within the next 2 weeks we can narrow that down to come up with an agreement that meets the needs of our campus and allows the providers to do what they need to do, obviously, to stay in business.
Thank you.
Zulema just sent me a direct message to ask if Gabby has been introduced college-wide. I did send an email to introduce Gabby college-wide, but since we have YuZoom, I would like to introduce Gabby Gabby is the executive assistant in my office, and she joined us at the beginning of the year. So I should have added her to the slide to welcome her officially, but welcome, Gabby. I'm so glad you are here to join us.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. I let Jeremy know that I feel so welcomed, and I feel like everybody has been so helpful. I have no previous experience in the education industry, so everything is really brand new to me. But everyone's been really patient and more than willing to help me out and answer all of my questions. So I'm really happy to be here, and thank you.
Thank you for the reminders, Evie. Question in the chat about student IDs.
I'll answer that one. Hello. The student IDs usually are run by the ASYC students, and they did have their first meeting. So we're looking at scheduling them to start, distributing them to students. We do have a part-time campus life technician. So her time is limited. She's not working full-time, but we are in the process of hiring someone permanently. So hopefully that helps with the student IDs. So look for an email, I guess, from me.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I'm gonna stop the recording.